Unlike most shoes nowadays, these are great for both indoor and outdoor play. Welcome back to another WearTesters performance review. My name is Alan, and today we're taking a look at the Way of Wade All City 11 V2. Just as that name is packed with way too many words, this shoe is also packed with a lot of features that are very focused towards basketball performance. I had a pretty enjoyable experience playing with these shoes, but I think the only tricky thing is the fit. Once you get around the narrow fit of the shoe, you'll be able to reap the benefits of all its features. When I first tried these shoes on, I felt that narrow fit mainly in the midfoot area of the shoe. I chose to go up half a size and I still felt that tightness, so I could only imagine how much tighter it would have felt if I went true to size. I strongly recommend wide footers or people who wear ankle braces to go up at least half a size. Even though I went up half a size, lengthwise the shoe was still fine. My toes were still very close to the edge of the shoe, so I think if you go up at least half a size, it will feel alright. And going up a full size may also work, but when you go up full sizes, that's when you should start to be careful, because that's when you usually experience things like heel slippage. You don't want a shoe to be too long nor too wide. The width of the toe box itself was fine for me. It's still slightly on the narrow side, but it wasn't to the point that it was uncomfortable. As for the height of the toe box, it's not going to expand that much. The good thing about that is that it also won't form a bubble in that area because of how rigid that upper is, despite it being thin. The advantage of having a snug fitting shoe is that it gives you great lockdown. And one of the things that gives you a great lockdown is the lacing system. I like this lacing system for a couple of reasons. I like that it's efficient. It only has about 5 eyelets here. You have 2 external, 2 internal, and then you have 1 normal type of eyelet towards the end right here. The notable thing that you'll see are these 2 pieces right here in the midfoot area, and thankfully even when I tied it up, it never felt like it was poking my feet at all. What also helps is the tongue is padded and thick enough for that. The only minor gripe I have with the lacing system is that it is somewhat hard to adjust. That may be a blessing in disguise too, because if it's hard to adjust, that means it doesn't loosen very easily. The tongue is very well constructed. It is semi-gusseted. It has a lace lock here towards the end, and it also starts in the midfoot part of the shoe. All those factors contribute to it not moving around at all, so it stays pretty locked in as well. It also is very nicely cushioned. It's thick and it's comfortable, but it also relieves some lace pressure. Even if you tie it tightly, it won't give you any sort of discomfort on top of your foot. For flat footers, the good news is that the insole is removable, so you can put in your own custom orthotics. But again, be aware that since this shoe fits pretty snug already, if you replace that insole with your own insole, it may feel even more snug, so just be careful with that. The upper material of the shoe is very reminiscent of the screen mesh material in the GT Cut 2s. Technically, they are calling this TPEE yarn woven material, but what I can tell you after playing with them is that even though the upper is thin, it is mostly reinforced throughout. So there are spots in the shoe where you'll see it is see-through, and that is where a lot of the airflow will come from, but a lot of it is again reinforced. You'll see these blue parts right here in the upper, and those blue parts are thin plastic pieces that are solid, and you'll feel it underneath it. The good thing is that underneath that is mesh type of material, so I don't directly feel it right away, so it doesn't brush up against my feet or anything like that to cause any sort of irritation. If it was just my feet and those plastic pieces and nothing in between them, then that would be a problem, but thankfully that wasn't the case here. You will see those blue plastic pieces in the midfoot area of the shoe as well. That is one of the things that causes that narrow fit of the shoe. It did cause a bit of soreness in the beginning, but after playing with it for a while, it did feel better. If you are able to try these shoes in store, you should go with the one that feels comfortable right out of the box, because even though the shoe is thin, like I said, it is mostly reinforced, so I don't think it will expand that much more. This type of upper is pretty good for outdoors because it does have those spots where airflow can come from, but it also is pretty durable because it is tear resistant. So it has that combination of being thin and durable, which is suitable for outdoors. Usually when you play outdoors, it's a bit hotter and the conditions are harsher, so that combo works out very well. The internal lining of the shoe in the ankle area is this felt type of material. It personally isn't my favorite, but it was soft, so I did appreciate that. And what I really care most about is the thickness of the cushion around here, regardless of whether it's rough or soft. The internal lining isn't the same throughout. I like how it feels here in the toe box underneath. It is made up of that mesh material right here. As for the cushion setup of the shoe, what you get here is a full-length Boom cushion. Boom is li-ning's best cushion setup. It is their own version of Adidas Boost, which is another ETPU type of foam. So if you're familiar with that, that's how it usually feels. I first experienced Boom in the WOW 10s last year, and that was a really incredible experience because it was really soft and bouncy. But the bounce in this shoe is a different experience. I would say that the bounce here is more of a controlled and stable bounce. And what I mean by that is that you get what you put into it. When you're first walking around with this shoe, at least in my experience, it felt very firm. I didn't feel like it was plushed or soft at all. Once I started running and jumping and landing, I really felt the cushion and appreciated it even more for its energy return. What is contributing to that sort of controlled bounciness of the shoe is the torsional plates of the shoe. It has a top loaded and it has a bottom loaded torsional plate. For torsional rigidity purposes, it is very good. It won't bend in the midfoot. There isn't really much of a forefoot flex as well. What's also controlling the bounciness of the Boom cushion is the caging of the shoe. It is a soft caging that allows it to expand a little bit. That caging and the two torsional plates are, I think, the two reasons why you get that really controlled bounce. Usually in other shoes, the outriggers jet out a bit and have a flat surface on this side of the shoe. This shoe technically doesn't really become flat here, but it doesn't matter because the outsole jets out so much. So it is an exaggerated outrigger. With that exaggerated outrigger, you should feel pretty confident in making very hard cuts laterally. Obviously, no shoe will prevent ankle sprains, and that will depend on your ankle strength. But having an outrigger, and especially an exaggerated outrigger like this will definitely help you when you're making aggressive lateral cuts or just changing your movement constantly when you're out there on the court. This part right here is technically not the heel counter. What the heel counter is the internal one, and it's pretty stiff. So that is what matters. This piece right here is more of an aesthetic piece. It was poking a little bit, but only if I really exaggerated my step. So I think even if you wear ankle socks or no-show socks, this shouldn't give you any sort of irritation. Finally, for the traction performance of the shoe, I had an excellent experience with this. I think this is the aspect that really makes this a good all-around basketball shoe for indoors and outdoors, because I really tried to run it to the ground. I played with it indoors in clean courts and dirty courts. I played with it outdoors. I even played pickleball with these shoes, and there really is little to no fraying in the outsole. The outsole here sports just herringbone throughout, very tacky, solid outsole with the shoe's exaggerated outrigger on the lateral side and then its rounded shape on the medial side. It really encourages you to be fearless when you're playing out there in terms of, changing direction, because when your foot goes into a weird angle, you'll be covered just because you have this outrigger to stabilize you, and then you have this outsole right here on the medial side to make sure you don't slip. Again, ankle sprains are not going to be 100% prevented. That's going to depend on your ankle strength overall. In terms of durability, this shoe is even more durable than the WOW 10 outsole that I tried last year. So I think that speaks volumes to how good of a value you will get with this shoe. That is about it for my performance review of the Wade All City 11 V2. It's one thing to have a lot of great tech features in the shoe, but it's an even more important thing to blend all those and have it executed very well into a seamless experience. Once you get that fit right, you will really appreciate this shoe. As always, hopefully you get to wear your shoes, have fun playing basketball out there. My name is Alan, and I'll see you again on the next performance review. Peace.